two hikers discovered a human skeleton wearing a belt and leather shoes. They were near California's second highest peak, Mount Williamson, in 2019. Luckily, they were able to get help. The Inyo County Sheriff's Department was initially baffled by the find, which they couldn't immediately connect to any missing person cases. Using DNA technology, they identified the individual as Gichi Matsumura, a Japanese-American artist and Manzanar internment camp prisoner who died during a freak snowstorm in 1945. His body was found a month later, and a burial was performed by members of the camp and Matsumura's family. And although the collective memory of his grave faded over time, the man's granddaughter, Lori Matsumura, was surprised when authorities called her and told her they may have found his remains. Lori had known about the burial since childhood and had even seen photos of it, but she had never asked much about her grandfather's time at Manzanar. Number 9. Valley of the Headless Men. While searching for gold among the remote Mackenzie Mountains in the Nahanni Valley of Canada's Northwest Territories in 1908, brothers Willie and Frank McLeod disappeared. Their decapitated bodies were discovered in the area 2 years later, and their heads were nowhere to be found. 9 years later, an explorer named Martin Jorgensen ventured into the Nahanni Valley to look for gold. His cabin mysteriously burned down shortly after he mailed several letters declaring that he had found the precious metal. Jorgensen's burned and beheaded body was found among the ashes. In 1945, the headless remains of a miner from Ontario were found in the man's sleeping bag. The mysteries and alleged hauntings surrounding the Nahanni Valley only increased from there. The circumstances surrounding the decapitated men's deaths are still unknown. The Nahanni National Park Reserve is open to the public, but it's not easy to get to. Those who wish to see the creepy but scenic valley for themselves must get there by boat or float plane. Number 8. Strange dinosaur. In 1971, someone discovered the bones of a small, two-legged, plant-eating dinosaur at a remote site in the Skeena mountain range of British Columbia, Canada. Dating back some 70 million years, the fossils were put into storage following their discovery and went more or less unnoticed until 2004, when undergrad student Victoria Arbour was tasked with researching the skeleton for a project. Noticing the bone's remarkably preserved state, Arbour soon determined that the bones represented the most intact dinosaur specimen ever found in British Columbia to date. It was also the first set of dinosaur bones ever found in the Skeena Mountains. She also realized that the specimen may represent a previously unknown species. Arbour explained that while the skeleton resembled two known dinosaur species, the dinosaur's arm bone is very distinct from other dinosaurs that were found at the same time in southern Alberta. In late 2019, the dinosaur, nicknamed Buster, was officially confirmed as a new species. Now Arbour is the curator of paleontology at the Royal BC Museum and received a six-figure grant to continue her research into the region's dinosaurs. Number 7. Mystery monoliths. Late last year, 3 mysterious monoliths appeared in Utah, California, and Romania, all within the span of a few weeks. The first monolith was spotted in the Utah desert in late November by helicopter crews and wildlife biologists who were counting bighorn sheep in the region from overhead. They spotted something glinting in the distance, which turned out to be an 11-foot-tall stainless steel object with a mirrored surface. Nobody knows who created the monument, and 4 unidentified men were seen dismantling it and walking away with the pieces, reportedly telling an onlooker that they considered it to be trash. Their association with the sculpture, if any, is unknown. Days later, a triangular 13-foot-tall monolith appeared on Batka Domeni Hill in the Romanian town of Piatra Neamț. Then another strange steel structure measuring 10 feet tall sprang up on Pine Mountain in Atascadero, California. Some speculated that the monuments were inspired by a storyline from the science fiction novel 2001: A Space Odyssey, in which a monolith appears on Earth and gives wisdom to a tribe of apes. But a solid explanation was never determined, leaving us to wonder what the heck is going on. As humans, we've just always been obsessed with monoliths. Number 6. Untersberg Mountain Disappearances. Situated along the border between Germany and Austria, Untersberg Mountain is the site of numerous unexplained disappearances and reappearances. It is rumored to be inhabited by demons, spirits, and strange creatures. One thing that seems to happen a lot is that people will have a feeling of missing time or traveling many miles in just a few minutes, which makes people think there is some sort of time vortex or alien abduction going on. Over the years, hundreds of people have vanished without a trace. One of the most famous cases at Untersberg Mountain involved a trio of explorers who entered the mountain's cave system and went missing in 1987. Park rangers discovered their car, but no trace of the vanished hikers. 3 months later, the three individuals called their families from a ship on the Red Sea, with no idea of how they got there. It seemed as though they had time traveled, leading them to believe that when they entered the caves of Untersberg Mountain, they unknowingly passed through a time portal. An explorer went to go find the time warps for himself, and he reported going into a cave where he found escaped Nazi soldiers that had fled to the mountains. The stories go all the way back to 1738, when a hunter disappeared. He vanished into thin air, but then 1 year later he appeared at his own memorial service, dazed and confused. He refused to tell anyone what had happened to him, except an archbishop, who was so disturbed by his confession that he resigned and never spoke of it again. While the place is extremely beautiful, these mountains' history of alleged time travel and other bizarre occurrences is undeniable. Number 5. The Face of Machu Picchu. The 15th century Inca citadel, famously known as Machu Picchu, was built on a mountain range 7,970 feet high. Experts believe that the site was constructed around 1450 as an estate for the Emperor Pachacuti, who lived from 1418 to about 1471. Machu Picchu was abandoned just a century after it was created at the hands of Spanish conquistadors. Oddly, however, it was not known to the outside world until centuries later, when American historian Hiram Bingham drew widespread attention to it in 1911. Some people have noticed that when they turn the famous photograph of Machu Picchu that is commonly used in postcards, they can see the profile of a man's face. The formation is entirely natural, but bears an uncanny resemblance to a person looking toward the sky. With all the knowledge the ancients had of the stars and of the sky, did they perhaps choose this site specifically because of this? Did they observe this site and perhaps see the face of the mountain as a sign? Anyone who wants to snap their own original photo of the face of Machu Picchu can do so from a structure known as the Guardian's House. While some visitors believe that the Inca had help from someone or something else to build Machu Picchu, it's much more likely that they did this on their own, taking into account the location and the environment. It's a magical place for a reason. Number 4. World's oldest mattress. Starting around 77,000 years ago, entire families slept together on a bed of evergreens inside a rock shelter nestled in a sandstone cliff, known as the Sibudu Cave in South Africa. The practice continued for an estimated 39,000 years, according to experts, who revealed in a 2011 study that they had discovered the world's oldest known bedding inside the cave. The ancient people who used the bedding even created a top sheet with insect-repelling greenery, perhaps representing the first known use of medicinal plants. Widely explained that the prehistoric cave dwellers likely used the leaves to combat body lice, although it was unlikely they encountered bedbugs. They had other bugs to worry about. The mattresses were about a foot thick, big enough to sleep an entire family, and were both comfortable and long-lasting. Everyone all in one bed was great during ancient times, warm and safe, just like today. Number 3. A lost city. Researchers were exploring a town called Vlokos when they came across ancient ruins consisting of towers, walls, and city gates that were previously written off as unimportant. Upon closer examination, they realized that the site was once a thriving metropolis, measuring over 99 acres within the confines of its walls, according to a statement from team leader Robin Rundland. In 2016, an international team of Greek and Swedish archaeologists discovered the remains of a lost city on top of a hill in the Thessalian Plains, 190 miles north of Athens. The 2,500-year-old settlement is mostly buried underground, which is why it went unnoticed for so long. Additionally, the team found coins and pottery, which helped them date the city to 500 BC. Runlund explained that the settlement appears to have flourished during the 4th to 3rd century BC and was subsequently abandoned for unknown reasons. Maybe they were conquered by the Romans. Number 2. Dyatlov Pass Incident. They had set up camp at the base of the mountain as an intense blizzard approached, and their journey ended there. They were supposed to report back, but never did, so a search party went out to look for them. This incident is perhaps the most famous adventure mystery ever. A group of 9 hikers consisting of 7 men and 2 women died in early 1959 near a peak known as Dead Mountain in Russia's Ural Mountains. Were they attacked by a creature? The official cause of death was hypothermia. Number 1. The Swallowing Mountain. Many hikers just disappear, and their bodies are never found. Legend goes that if you are hiking and pass by a brick of gold or a smoldering clay pot with no fire, to simply keep walking as if you didn't see anything. Don't be tempted to pick up the gold or see whose pot that is. At 8,504 feet high, Mount Nyangani is Zimbabwe's tallest peak. According to local folklore, it's both a sacred place and a place where a vindictive spirit resides. Either way, it should be approached with caution if you are even able to get there. Numerous people have died on the mountain, with some getting lost and falling down steep cliffs or ravines, and others succumbing to accidents that seem to happen after a mysterious fog and strong gusts of wind appear out of nowhere.